played your first tournament actually just last year, Katrina, in Stavanger at Norway Chess.
Yeah.
First over the board tournament. Did you enjoy it?
I did. But as you're saying, it's a big venue where a lot of people are sitting, so the air quality there was
really bad.
Yeah. And only boys, you know.
Yeah, they want it cold, right? We learned that. All right. Well, game 3 started. David, what do we see?
It's another Sicilian defense, this time slightly less cagey than the first game of today. It's the open Sicilian, Ian Nepomniachtchi going on the attack early. And this last pawn move by White, pushing a pawn with White g-pawn forward, shows his aggression. But Magnus reacts instantly. This is the height of opening fashion. This is one of the most trendy lines, the most trendy variations in chess right now. We saw a trade of knights, Black pushing a pawn forward. Now White is the first to castle. Black really needs to catch up on piece development though. If you look at all of Black's kingside pieces, all of the pieces on this side of the board, they're still asleep. They're still at home. So White will love to maybe push all the pawns forward and initiate an attack at some point. I think this is a great opening choice though, in a must-win, almost must-win situation.
And what I really like about Nepomniachtchi's choice is that we're actually following a game that Niels Grandelius played against Magnus Carlsen in Vikensay this year. So that was literally in January. And well, that means that Nepomniachtchi has some preparation at hand.
Yeah, and that opening between Niels Grandelius, who actually used to work for Magnus Carlsen, used to be one of his coaching team, that opening led to a White advantage, a big White advantage. Grandelius had Magnus on the ropes in that one. However, I do happen to know that Magnus mixed up his move order in that game. He prepared very deeply. He studied, I think, past move 20. He just mixed up the move order, and that's why he was in trouble. So will Magnus maybe come up with an improvement on that game? Will he try to throw Nepomniachtchi off the scent early by springing a surprising move now? Either way, I still like the strategy by Nepomniachtchi. I think at least Magnus will have to be super accurate to survive this opening. Just look at the black pieces. He needs to bring them out, he does. He leaps out with the black knight, and White just guards 2 pawns with this last push.
And this is Nepomniachtchi's improvement. He actually had this position, this variation with White in the FTX Crypto Cup, the knockout portion, against Fabiana Caruana, and that game ended in a draw, I think. I get my stats, yeah, draw. And now instead of just pushing the G-pawn up and attacking the knight, he's like, no, I'm going to reinforce my pawn structure in the center.
Okay, so...
so. And I was thinking that maybe, because in some of my games I had this experience that I make a move after like thinking for a while and then seeing it and realizing right after that was something I didn't think about.
Yeah.
And it seems like it happened to Nepomniachtchi twice.
Yeah. Lightning does strike twice, and okay, Magnus, of course, finds the best move. We saw it yesterday several times. If there's only one move in the position, or if there's by far one move stronger than all the others, he is likely to find it. And he also mentioned that phrase in his interview yesterday, process of elimination. Even the top players do it. They see all the options, they think, okay, this doesn't work, this one looks a bit complicated. They go for the final option, and often it's the best one. So Magnus just offering the traded queens, and White's queen forced back.
I love that interview with Kaya yesterday when she asked him about this move that he'd found, and he just goes, well,
because Black does have this really strong pass pawn, so White's queen stepped back, and Jan exhaling deeply there. Actually, there's so many tempting moves. I'm looking at checks first of all. Black has a very tempting bishop takes pawn check just to lure out the white king, and then some queen checks to follow up. I'm not sure that works. Instead, he just brings his rooks down, and second heaven, as Kaya coined, those two black rooks. They're just too strong. Just looks completely winning for Black.
yeah.
Black is going to take the pawn next to the white king now, and then take the other pawn. How do you defend?
I mean, can you just ignore everything and just go queen takes bishop and...
Yeah, I think maybe he could have tried that, but I think there would have been some checkmating ideas if that had happened. So White dropping back the bishop to defend the pawn in front of the white king. But Black is 2 pawns up now with the attack. He just needs to be careful, as Ian mentioned, of threats like White's queen taking the black bishop in front of it, utilising a pin on the e-file. But plus 30. Wow. Normally we see plus 3 or 4 or plus 100 if there's checkmate, but never plus 30. That means there must be a win. What is the win right now for Black? It must feature a check, surely. Feels like there's something in the air. Is the black bishop going to come down and take a pawn with check? Can Black's rook sacrifice itself? Black's queen could just move and keep everything safe. I think Black's winning anyway. But is there a killer blow? It's gone up to plus 100 for Black.
Wow.
That means there's checkmate in the position.
Can you go queen a4 maybe, or bring it in like...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Right.
I think you're right. That's a great... We should show it.
And he is capable, but 100 on the bar?
Sometimes the position is just not good enough. You know, you might be the best player in the world, but your position is just dire and there's nothing to do. And unfortunately, barring something going terribly wrong for Magnus here, it's going to be game over because there's just no defense to queen takes pawn check. And if you do try to defend against it, well, there's simply going to be... I don't see it, actually.
Yeah.
There's no way. No way.
Computer confirms it, plus 100. That means checkmate is about to happen. Ian Nepomniachtchi just raising his eyebrows, down under 3 minutes. Is he about to resign?
Oh,
There's no way to continue. No.
He looks so sad.
Yeah.
Oof.
Nothing else to do. Checkmate coming over the next few moves. It'll be nice to see it on the board. That would be a fitting way to end such a fighting tournament. But either way, heartbreak for Nepomniachtchi, who's been so good the whole event. Magnus just taking his chances today, right?
Yeah. It just kind of feels like the story is followed like one narrative, like Nepomniachtchi was so dominant in the opening, and then one misstep, and the whole situation, the whole momentum has changed for Magnus, and Magnus takes over. And
yeah. It's just, chess is so harsh. Just one slip, one wrong move in a promising position, and suddenly your opponent has everything. And Magnus still focused, still calculating, but by this point he knows that he's about to win the Airthings Masters. And okay, Magnus just waiting for the hammer to fall. Nepomniachtchi about to resign, about to give up. Okay, moments away from the trophy.
What a hard-fought and fantastic final by Ian Nepomniachtchi. We know he's been under a lot of pressure. A lot of things has been on his mind. It must have been hard to focus. He has played some fantastic games. But there it is. It ends here. Magnus Carlsen winning 2 games today. He is the winner of the Airthings Master after an incredible final with the great Ian Nepomniachtchi, but Magnus Carlsen showing his genius in this final. We've had